You would think that it's clear the air has gone completely out of the defund the police movement, with even President Biden making funding the police a major policy initiative. Now, this show has extensively covered the consequences of liberal lawmakers who thought radical calls to defund and abolish departments was a good idea. But what many are learning is that it's not so easy to pull back once you get on the defund bandwagon. The effects are lingering in crime rates and police morale and retention. But Seattle appears to be the most strident holdout, still seemingly unwilling to give up on the mantra. In December, for a second time, they defunded their police department. And now, not surprisingly, we just saw the city make history with fatal shootings reaching a new high. In just a moment, their police chief will join us live. Even most of the ground zero defund cities have realized their mistakes, like Minneapolis. In 2020, the city council voted to shift $8 million in police funding to other services, including mental health crisis response teams. Crime spiked. The city saw the highest number of homicides in 2 decades, 51, and more than double the number from 2019, which was 22. When the city had a vote last fall to change the local police department into a new public safety agency, something certain leaders in the city said their constituents really wanted.
The majority of the people in Minneapolis don't trust the Minneapolis police.
Right. So voters, tired of their crime-ridden streets, resoundingly rejected the idea. And now, even that same Minneapolis City Council approved a nearly 15% increase to the police force. Then there's Portland, which in June of 2020 cut $15 million from its police department. Again, crime spiked. In 2021, the city set a record for homicides when it recorded 90. Shattering the city's previous high of 66, set more than 3 decades ago. By November 2021, the city's mayor announced a $5 million budget increase for the police department.
Many Portlanders no longer feel safe in their city. Business owners have closed up shop for fear of doing business in high-risk areas. Commuters fear for their safety, whether taking public transit or going by foot. Parents are scared to let their children play outside.
But then there's Seattle, whose leaders are either delusional or just don't care that much about their city's public safety. In December, when refunding had finally become the thing to do to try to remedy the mistakes of defund, Seattle, for their 22 budget, cut its police funding again by more than $7 million. The city had previously defunded over $35 million, and the $7 million cut passed on an 8-to-1 vote. And you know that lone no? That was a progressive lawmaker who wanted an even larger cut. Well, now the city and its residents are paying a very steep price. Last month, Seattle saw 11 homicides, the deadliest month since the city started counting. The previous high for any month was 9, and for any August before this one, the record was 6. The city also on pace for a record number of total shootings. In August, they passed 500. It's not just killings on the rise, also overdoses doubled last month from the year before, and certainly not surprising is that over 450 officers have retired or resigned since January 1 of 2020. Joining me now is the interim chief of the Seattle Police Department, Adrian Diaz. Chief, thanks so much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. So this all must be pretty maddening for you. I mean, I know you want to stay out of the politics, right? You want to focus on law enforcement. But when law enforcement is having its funding cut and people in Seattle and the leaders there aren't saying, wow, we really messed this up the way other cities are saying, it's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, the first 2 years in 2020 and 2021 were very, very difficult years because when there was a talk about defunding the police department by 50%, it meant an 11-year officer was going to lose their job. And this year, we're finally, in support of a new mayor and in support of a new city attorney, we are starting to go back and do the police work that needs to be done. Our recruiting and hiring retention package just got approved just in the month of August. And it has been a difficult time for 2 years to have gone by, but we're hoping that we're on the pace to actually be able to build up our ranks and address the crime that we need to address.
Well, that's very good news to hear that. I mean, what led to the change? I mean, are some of the very same people who were saying defund, defund, defund now finally recognizing that it was a horrible mistake?
Well, I can't speak to that, where people think they're at, but what we've seen throughout the city, there isn't an area of the city that hasn't experienced some level of violent crime. Before it was in maybe different pockets of the city, but now it's throughout the city. And just this last couple of days, we've actually had a couple attempted child abductions where officers did make arrests, and so we had a good outcome out of it. But we are seeing a variety of different crimes that are occurring throughout the city, and I think people recognize that we need police officers to go out and make sure that the city is safe.
How's the morale in the department?
I believe that it was very, very low in 2020, and I believe every year it continues to move up. I feel officers do see light at the end of the tunnel, that there are ideas that we are getting back into doing the police work that needs to be done. Our city attorney has been working on prosecuting cases.
Good. And
that is a big thing for the officers, to make sure that when they do a lot of good police work, that those cases are being prosecuted.
All right. Look, that's good to hear. I mean, this is better news that I'm hearing from you than I had expected, and that's terrific. Because I'm not looking to sort of, talk about bad things just to gin up outrage. I want facts. I want to try and figure out solutions. Yeah. And hearing you talk about the improvements is really nice to hear. So, Chief, thanks a lot for taking the time, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.